Well, hello. How long have you been here? Have you had a chance to watch any of the bands at the festival?
No, we just arrived literally 90 minutes ago, I guess, something like that.
Yeah, an hour and so.
Still waiting for our chalets to be ready. So just came in, have a little look around. No, not really checked out any bands as yet. So plenty of time for that there.
Yeah. So, what have you been keeping yourselves busy with then this year?
This year, plenty of shows, writing a new album. We've just got back from South America. We were there for the last just over 3 weeks. Just great. Chile, Brazil, Argentina, Colombia. Great tour. Grueling, but fantastic. So that was good. We were in Germany last weekend. This is the last show of the year. Take a few months off to write the new album, and then get that out and start hitting the road again.
So what, you get to travel all over the world? You said you've just been to South America. What is it like? How different are the shows down there?
Quite a bit actually. Some of it was a little rough and ready, but the crowds were just totally fucking insane. We'd heard stories about it, and all the stories were completely true, and then some. It was
larger audiences, completely insane. Smaller audiences, completely insane. Just a different level of sort of dedication to it altogether. It's just absolutely fantastic.
Do you think extreme metal, thrash metal, death metal, do you think they're more popular in South America than this country now?
Than this country? I think it's more popular in most countries in the world than this country at the moment. Hello! Certain parts of Europe, it's massive. Maybe not quite as much in this country, but certainly massive over there.
So, let's go back for a while. You released 3 albums many years ago and split up, and now you got back together again. Why and how? How did it all come together again?
Mainly down to Steve, I guess. He'd always tracked all things Onslaught, even when we weren't active. And he came up to me one day. He said he discovered that basically that the 3 albums had been re-released, and he'd done a bit of research and found out that they were really selling very, very well again, which kind of made him think there was a big interest for the band again, as the extreme music has come round full circle. And he just kind of put the question to us: would we like to give it another shot, see what happened, just for a bit of fun at first, and then as we all got back into it and found that we could work together again properly, it was all systems go from there really. Once we got the bug back, it was hard to let go, so
yes.
Onwards and upwards.
Well, how has the metal world changed then since the 80s back then?
I don't think it has a great deal, to be honest. As I said, everything's come back round full circle. We're playing with the same bands again, the likes of Exodus, Testament, Creator, Destruction, Sodom, all the bands that were around when we were still around now. So it kind of feels like 21 again, you know. In terms of crowds, maybe the crowds are a little less. What's the word I'm looking for? Mental. I think that's mainly because of the security issues of health and safety everywhere, and all these new European laws. The security are so strict; they're really reluctant to allow stage divers and stuff, which we kind of encouraged back in the day a lot. So and that's the only thing I think is really noticeably different, the fact that there's not so many people on stage with you, and it's not quite as crazy. Apart from that, everything's just as good as it was, I think. The crowds are getting bigger again now.
Younger.
Good sign.
Well, here in Britain we invented metal and all the rest of it, but thrash metal has never really been one of the main genres that people listen to in this country, and you're one of the only recognised thrash metal bands from this country. So,
what I always found bizarre about England was, especially sort of 86, 87, 88, was there was a massive fan base for the likes of Metallica, Anthrax, and the thrash metal genre, but there were no bands. Nobody seemed to want to be in a band. There was like probably 4 or 5 thrash bands in the country at that time. Nobody wanted to be. Everybody was happy to be a fan and not be in a band. I just find it really strange. Like. Even now, I mean, there's only a handful of new thrash bands now, isn't there?
Yeah.
Very strange.
I still think as a genre it's probably more popular in the UK than it has been for a while. I think it's a lot more media led. You know, I think there are a lot more extreme metal magazines than there used to be. So I think people have got more opportunity to be exposed to it. You know, and there's more of a platform for it now. So you know, even though yes, it's not mainstream, not by a long way, I think it's a lot more popular than it was in this country because there's more of a platform for it.
Okay, well, your third album, you had Steve Grimmett singing on that album. Is that album a bit of a black sheep? Do you kind of avoid playing songs from that album live, or?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we can't totally discard the album because it was actually our biggest selling album by a long way. But we only actually play one song live now and again from it. The reason being, we've rehearsed many of the songs off of it, and it just really doesn't sit in the set for some reason. Even though all the songs are written with Si, it just doesn't work for some reason. The songs stand out like a sore thumb, don't they?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to have the.
It's not dark. It's not as dark as.
Yeah, it hasn't got that dark aggression that the rest of the stuff has. Even though it has been pushed, and the versions that are played live, obviously you can tell what the songs are, but they're quite far removed from the album versions. Still hasn't quite got that underlying aggression that the rest of the set does. It still sounds great in the set.
We keep trying, keep plugging away at another track, but I don't think it'll ever play a major part in our live set list.
Okay, well, this is completely different now. The very first time the term death metal was used was in 1985. You've probably heard this before. And, well, it's Onslaught or Possessed. And do you like to take credit for using the term death metal, or is it not something you're interested with?
Last night, actually. And he's convinced we used the term first. They say they did. Who knows? But the actual song Death Metal, it was On Power from Hell, was written in 1984, early 84, I think, before the album came out in early 85. So it had been kicked around for a long time. So who knows? This is one of us too. But, we're just lucky in the fact that there's another thing we were talking about. It's just been confirmed for a festival in Finland in March or May, I think. And it's total black and death metal bands, and we're the only thrash band on the bill. And we've done several festivals like that, and we seem to be one of the only thrash bands who can get away with playing on these black and death festivals and actually going down on an equal standing with the rest of the bands. It's weird how we can sort of cross genre, you know, because some of these genres are very sort of insular, aren't they? So.
Yeah, very specific.
Yeah, so we're quite lucky in that fact, and I think a lot of that kind of stems from the early stuff.
Do you take pride in that you can still be the flagship, really, for extreme metal from Britain, even now?
It's nice. We work our hardest to be the best we can and be on the best show we can. So it would be nice to be perceived as that.
Yes. Yes.